My brothers, my sisters, in a world full of noise, movement and distraction, the one who stands still, yet aware, the one who listens deeply becomes the one impossible to ignore. Mental strength is not built in comfort, it is forged in clarity, in discipline and in practice. So today, I share with you one brain hack, a simple principle that when applied will make you mentally unbreakable and undeniably present. My friend, to begin the journey of becoming mentally unbreakable and impossible to ignore, we must first understand that awareness is the beginning of all power. This is not something that can be rushed or forced, but something that arises gently when you learn to observe your own mind deeply and honestly. Your mind is like a vast ocean full of waves of thoughts, emotions and impulses, and if you dive into that ocean blindly, you will be tossed around endlessly without direction or peace. Imagine for a moment a warrior standing calmly before battle. He does not strike without seeing. His eyes are sharp, his senses alert, but his mind is still. He watches everything clearly. He sees the movements of his opponent not to react in fear but to respond with precision. This is the nature of awareness. When you become aware of your thoughts and emotions as they arise, you create a sacred space between the stimulus and your response. Within this space lies your true power. Most people live their lives in automatic mode. Their minds are flooded with constant chatter and their reactions come as a reflex, like a flame catching fire at the slightest breeze. They are ruled by their feelings, their fears, and their habits. But when you practice awareness, you break free from this automatic chain reaction. You begin to see your thoughts as clouds passing through the sky. You do not cling to them or push them away. You simply observe them. This simple act of observation begins to change everything. When a difficult thought or emotion arises, instead of being swept away by it, you step back and watch it with calm curiosity. What is this feeling? What is this thought? Why has it come to me now? You do not judge yourself for having these experiences. You allow them to be present without resistance. When you do this, the energy of these thoughts and emotions begins to shift. They lose their power to control you, because you are no longer identified with them. This practice of creating space is the brain hack itself. It is the hidden door to mental resilience and clarity, because in that moment of observation, you become the master of your mind instead of its servant. You choose how to respond. You can act with wisdom and intention rather than impulsively or out of habit. This is the foundation of mental unbreakability. It is important to understand that this awareness is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process that requires patience and dedication. Your mind will try to pull you back into old patterns, into reactive habits. But every time you notice this pull and return to the space of observation, you strengthen the muscle of awareness. You build a sanctuary within your mind where clarity and calm reside, no matter what external storms rage around you. Some may wonder how to cultivate this awareness in practical terms. The answer lies in simple practices such as meditation, mindful breathing, or simply pausing before reacting. When you take a moment to breathe deeply and bring your attention to the present, you anchor yourself in awareness. Even just a few seconds of this practice throughout the day can begin to transform your mental state. Think of your mind like a wild horse running freely across the field. When you first try to tame it, you may feel frustrated or overwhelmed, but with gentle patience and steady presence, the horse begins to slow down. It listens to your voice and trusts your guidance. This is the process of awareness. It is not about forcing or controlling, but about inviting your mind to settle and be present with you. As you develop this awareness, you will notice a profound change in how you experience life. You become less reactive to challenges, less caught up in worries, and more grounded in your true self. The mental storms that once tossed you about lose their intensity because you no longer feed them with your energy. You become like a mountain standing firm and steady in the midst of the wind. This inner space you create is also where creativity, insight, and wisdom emerge. When your mind is clear and still, you begin to hear the quiet voice of your intuition. You start to see the bigger picture beyond immediate fears and desires. You gain the ability to choose your path consciously rather than being swept along by the currents of distraction and confusion. Remember that awareness is not about perfection or getting rid of thoughts and emotions. It is about befriending your mind in its fullness and complexity. It is about becoming an observer who meets every part of yourself with kindness and acceptance. In doing so, you transform mental resistance into mental freedom. So take this first step with courage and humility. Begin to watch your thoughts as they come. Begin to notice your emotions without reacting. Begin to create space between stimulus and response. This is the first and most powerful brain hack on the path to becoming mentally unbreakable and impossible to ignore. Let your awareness be the foundation upon which all other strengths are built. Discipline is the path to true freedom. Many seek freedom thinking it means doing whatever they want whenever they want, but true freedom is something deeper. It is the ability to choose what is necessary over what is easy or pleasurable. Without discipline, the mind remains scattered, restless, and weak. It is discipline that trains the mind to stay focused, to endure discomfort, and to act with intention rather than reaction. When you commit yourself to discipline, you build a fortress within that no external force can break. Consider the great warriors and masters throughout history. They did not reach their heights through luck or talent alone, but through relentless discipline. They trained their bodies and minds daily through routines that challenged them to push beyond limits, to face discomfort, and to develop resilience. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It turns dreams into reality. It makes the impossible possible. In our modern world, distractions surround us in every moment, from the constant buzz of notifications to the lure of entertainment that offers instant gratification. It is easy to fall into patterns of seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, yet those patterns lead to weakness and fragmentation. The mind that gives into every distraction becomes a prisoner of its impulses, but the mind trained by discipline gains the power to say yes to what matters and no to what does not. This ability creates clarity and strength. Discipline means showing up even when you do not feel like it, doing the small things that add up over time, taking cold showers, embracing silence, setting aside time for practice. These acts may seem simple or even harsh, but they serve as reminders that you control your experience, not your circumstances. Each moment of choosing discipline builds a reserve of strength that you can draw upon in moments of challenge. When you live with discipline, your presence changes. You become someone who is grounded, steady, and reliable. Your energy becomes focused and purposeful instead of scattered and reactive. People around you sense this shift, even if they cannot explain it. There is a magnetic quality to one who is disciplined, because discipline reflects mastery. Mastery over self, mastery over impulses, mastery over chaos. This mastery is what makes you impossible to ignore. Discipline also cultivates patience and humility. It teaches you that growth is a gradual process, not a sudden event. You learn to trust the journey, to accept setbacks as lessons rather than failures. Every step forward is a victory. Every moment of perseverance is a triumph. The disciplined mind does not seek immediate reward, but embraces the long path, knowing that true strength lies in endurance and consistency. It is important to remember that discipline is not punishment or restriction. It is a form of self-respect and love. When you discipline yourself, you honor your potential and your purpose. You invest in the person you are becoming. This investment pays dividends in confidence, clarity, and mental resilience. The more you commit to discipline, the more your mind becomes a calm and powerful force, capable of facing any storm. In the practical terms, discipline can be cultivated through daily rituals and habits that challenge your comfort zone. These may include meditation, rigorous physical training, waking early, reading or writing consistently. Whatever form it takes, the key is consistency and intention. Each act of discipline sends a message to your brain that you are in control, that you choose your path. This rewires your mind, making focus and resilience the natural state. Discipline also means learning to say no to temptations that do not serve your higher goals. This is one of the hardest parts because society often encourages instant gratification and easy pleasure. But the mentally unbreakable know that these distractions weaken the mind and scatter the energy. When you say no to what is easy, you say yes to what is important. This is a powerful statement of your values and priorities. Imagine your mind as a garden. Without discipline, weeds of distraction and chaos will overrun it. But with discipline, you cultivate the soil, plant seeds of focus, and water them with effort. Over time, this garden grows lush and strong, producing fruits of wisdom, creativity, and strength. Discipline is the gardener who tends this inner landscape, keeping it healthy, vibrant, and alive. As discipline grows, so does your capacity for presence. Presence is not just physical but mental and emotional. It means being fully engaged in the moment with clarity and calm. This presence makes you stand out in any situation. It draws others to you because it reflects confidence and authenticity. These qualities are born from discipline because they come from knowing yourself and your purpose deeply. In the end, discipline is a gift you give yourself. It is the foundation of mental unbreakability. It turns the chaos of life into a symphony of intention and focus. When you live with discipline, you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a creator of your reality. This power makes you impossible to ignore. Embrace discipline as your ally and watch your life transform into a testament of strength and clarity. The distracted mind is one that chases comfort, constantly seeking pleasure and avoiding discomfort. This endless pursuit leads only to more restlessness and emptiness. Because pleasure is fleeting and comfort often superficial, true mental strength comes not from chasing pleasure, but from pursuing purpose. Purpose is the fuel that drives the unbreakable mind. It gives direction to your actions, meaning to your struggles, and depth to your existence. When you anchor yourself in purpose, you rise above the noise of temporary desires and become a force that commands attention effortlessly. Many people wander through life reacting to impulses, trying to fill a void with fleeting satisfactions. They seek approval, possessions, or momentary joys, hoping these will bring lasting happiness. Yet these are illusions that fade quickly, leaving the mind even more unsettled. The strong mind understands that pleasure alone cannot satisfy the deeper hunger within, that hunger for significance, connection, and growth. Purpose answers that hunger. It gives your life a North Star, guiding your steps even in the darkest times. Purpose is not always grand or obvious. It can be simple yet profound. The purpose to care for your family, to master your craft, to serve your community, or to seek truth. Whatever your purpose, it must come from within. It cannot be borrowed or imposed by others. When your actions align with this inner purpose, your energy changes. You move with intention and clarity rather than confusion and distraction. Living with purpose means making choices that may not always be easy, but serve a greater vision. It means prioritizing long-term fulfillment over short-term gratification. It means sometimes saying no to comfort and yes to challenge. This path demands courage and commitment because it asks you to stand firm even when the world around you offers distractions and temptations. When you pursue purpose, you become like a mountain standing tall and unmoved by passing storms. The distractions that once pulled you in every direction lose their grip. Your mind becomes focused, like an arrow aimed at a target. Your presence grows stronger because people sense the power of your conviction. Purpose is magnetic. It draws others naturally because it reflects authenticity and depth. Few possess this, and those who do become impossible to ignore. Purpose also brings resilience. It gives you a reason to endure hardship and keep moving forward when obstacles arise. When you have purpose, suffering becomes a teacher rather than a prison. It shapes your character and strengthens your resolve. You learn to see setbacks not as failures, but as steps on the path to growth. This perspective is the hallmark of the mentally unbreakable. In practical terms, finding your purpose requires deep reflection and honesty with yourself. It means asking the hard questions. What truly matters to me? What legacy do I want to leave? How do I want to serve the world? These questions are not answered once, but revisited often as you grow and change. Your purpose may evolve, but the commitment to live by it must remain steady. Living with purpose also transforms your relationships. You connect with others on a deeper level because you are grounded in something real. Your interactions become more meaningful and less superficial. You inspire others not through words alone but through the integrity of your actions. Purpose shines through in how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you respond to challenges. This integrity is what makes you stand out. It is important to remember that purpose is not about seeking praise or validation from others. It is about alignment with your own values and truth. When your motivation comes from external approval, your strength becomes fragile, easily broken by criticism or rejection. True purpose is rooted in self-awareness and inner conviction. This makes your mental strength unshakable. Imagine a river flowing steadily toward the ocean. It does not get distracted by obstacles along the way, but finds a path through or around them. Purpose is that steady current in your life. It gives momentum and direction. It carries you forward no matter what comes. Your mind becomes clear and focused because it is moving with the force of meaning behind it. As you live with purpose, your confidence grows, not from arrogance, but from knowing who you are and why you are here. This confidence makes you stand tall, even in the face of doubt or opposition. It makes your voice heard, not because you shout louder, but because your message resonates with truth and sincerity. People feel this and are drawn to you naturally. Purpose creates a presence that cannot be ignored. In the end, pursuing purpose is the greatest brain hack for becoming mentally unbreakable. It transforms your mind from a restless seeker of pleasure into a focused warrior of meaning. It gives you the strength to face any challenge with courage and the grace to inspire others by your example. This path is not easy, but it is the way to a life of depth and impact. Choose purpose as your guide, and you will find your mind unshakable and your presence impossible to ignore. In the midst of chaos, the greatest power lies in stillness. When storms rage around you, when pressure mounts and distractions scream for your attention, the ability to remain calm and centered becomes your strongest weapon. Stillness is not the absence of action, but the presence of deep awareness. It is a state where your mind becomes clear, your heart steady, and your body grounded. This stillness is the source of true power because it allows you to respond to life with precision, wisdom, and grace. Many mistake stillness for passivity or weakness, but it is in fact the opposite. It takes courage to be still in a world that constantly demands movement, noise, and reaction. To pause and breathe when everything urges you to rush is an act of strength. This strength comes from the understanding that not every battle needs to be fought immediately. Not every problem requires a hasty answer. Stillness gives you the space to see the bigger picture, to listen deeply, and to act with intention rather than impulsiveness. When you cultivate stillness, you become like a deep lake, reflecting the sky calmly and clearly. The surface may ripple from the wind, but beneath it remains peaceful and undisturbed. This inner calm becomes a refuge not only for yourself, but for those around you. In times of crisis, people naturally gravitate to the one who is calm, because calmness brings clarity and direction. Your stillness becomes a beacon, a silent leadership that others trust and follow. Breathing is the gateway to stillness. When you feel overwhelmed or scattered, bring your attention to your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your chest, the flow of air entering and leaving. When you slow your breath, your mind follows and your body relaxes. This simple practice anchors you in the present moment and interrupts the cycle of stress and reactivity. Over time, this habit strengthens your ability to access stillness quickly, even in the most challenging situations. Stillness also sharpens your perception. When your mind is quiet, you begin to notice subtle details that were once lost in noise. You hear the unspoken words, feel the underlying emotions, and sense the rhythms of your environment. This heightened awareness allows you to navigate life with greater skill and empathy. You respond rather than react. You choose rather than drift. In moments of great pressure, athletes, musicians, and warriors all speak of the power of being in the zone, a state where action flows effortlessly from a place of calm focus. This state is born from stillness. It is the mind fully present, fully engaged, yet free from distraction or panic. When you cultivate stillness, you train yourself to enter this state at will, making your performance and presence unstoppable. Stillness is also deeply connected to humility. When you are still, you recognize your limits, your fears, and your vulnerabilities without judgment. This honesty opens the door to growth and transformation. It teaches you that strength is not about denying difficulty, but about embracing it with openness and courage. This acceptance dissolves resistance and frees your energy for constructive action. The world often values noise, activity, and outward success, but true power lies in the balance of action and stillness. Without stillness, action becomes scattered and ineffective. Without action, stillness can become stagnation. The mentally unbreakable learn to dance between these two poles, knowing when to move and when to be still. They cultivate patience, waiting for the right moment to act. And when that moment comes, their actions are powerful, precise, and impactful. Imagine a tree standing tall through the seasons, its roots deep in the earth, unshaken by the wind, its branches flexible, bending without breaking. This tree is a living symbol of stillness. It absorbs the storms without losing its center. It waits patiently for the right time to grow, blossom, and bear fruit. So too must you develop the inner stillness that supports resilience and presence. Practicing stillness requires dedication and mindfulness. It can begin with small daily moments of silence, meditation, or mindful walking. These practices train your mind to settle and your body to relax. With consistent effort, stillness becomes a natural state rather than an occasional refuge. You carry calm within you everywhere you go, making you a steady force in a turbulent world. Stillness also deepens your connection to yourself and to others. When you are still, you listen more deeply. You hear not only the words but the feelings and intentions behind them. This deep listening builds trust and empathy, strengthening your relationships. Your presence becomes a gift, a source of comfort and strength for those around you. In leadership, stillness is a powerful tool. Leaders who embody stillness inspire confidence. They create space for others to contribute and grow. They navigate challenges with calm, decisiveness, and wisdom. Their presence anchors teams and communities, making them stronger and more resilient. This kind of leadership is rare because it comes from inner mastery rather than external control. As you cultivate stillness, remember that it is not an escape from life, but a deeper engagement with it. It is a way of meeting every experience with clarity and grace, rather than being pulled into chaos. You stand firm like a mountain, rooted and unshakable. This stillness is the ultimate brain hack, the secret to becoming mentally unbreakable and impossible to ignore. Embrace stillness as your strength and watch how your mind and life transform.